So, we have had another interesting couple of weeks, which is going to make for a slightly different podcast again. So, I have managed to hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I cannot thank you enough. As I mentioned, one of the things that I wanted to do was to share my knits and makes and to build a community here, and I had no expectations when I started. So thank you so much. And as a thank you, I have a bit of a giftaway in this episode. I also have 3 finished objects and a couple of whips. So hello and welcome, or welcome back. My name is Angela and this is the Angela Makes podcast. This is episode 14 and I bring you this podcast from just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. So what I'm going to do today is to start with the FOs, and they are FOs that you've seen one of them before, so I'll start with those. I finished my Picotee pink socks by Twinset & Pearl. So I had finished one of these the last time, and this is both of them finished. I have blocked them as well. So this is the sock, and hopefully you can see a bit of the patterning on there. They are beautiful. It's a lovely 4-row repeat. I knit mine on 2.25mm needles. I used Giddy and yarn called Tickle Fight, and they are Shorties. Now you're supposed to do 2 repeats here, and I just did 1 repeat, but everything else is as the pattern. This tends to kind of, I want to say blow out, but that's not the right word. It tends to be a bit wider than a normal cast on. So as I've said, I have slightly wider ankles, wider feet. So this suits me, but it's something that you might want to maybe go down a needle size if you have narrower ankles, narrower feet, because the rest of it is as is normal socks, but that's the only thing. So this suits me absolutely down to the ground, and I didn't change needle size. But you might want to go down a needle size because this does end up a little bit more gapey, a little bit wider than a standard cuff on a sock, but I just love these. So the Picotee pink socks by Twinset & Pearl, and this is one of Rachel's designs. So I'm adding this into their botanical sock cowl, which they're currently running on Ravelry. You can also link them. You can link them on Instagram, but I think they're picking everything out of Ravelry, and I was wrong a couple of podcasts ago. I said it finished at the end of March, I think actually. It doesn't finish to the end of May, so at least I got the letter right at the start of the month. So it finishes at the end of May, so you still have plenty of time. You have to choose one of Rachel's botanical sock patterns, so she designed for their sock club for 2 years. So there's 24 patterns to choose from. I already had the Picotee pink and the Happy Kiss socks, so these are the ones that I chose, and I love them. So they're my first finished object. I have all the details on my Ravelry, but I think, so I had 100 gram skein of this. I think I only took about 40 grams, so I will easily get another pair of socks out of those. Now I'm a UK size 5, but I will easily get another pair of socks, and slightly longer if I wanted to, out of those. So they're the ones that you've seen before. And then, as you know, I was in the test knit for, again, Twinset & Pearl, for Joe's latest cowl, or latest shawl, the Alexander shawl. So you had seen the shawl in the previous podcast. I'll link it if you want to go back and have a look at that, and it is also on my Ravelry. But last weekend she asked could we check over the cowl instructions, and the cowl is one of Joe's designs that I haven't knit. So it keeps popping up. She's added it to a few of her patterns, but I haven't got round to knitting it yet. So when this came through, and because I had enjoyed the Alexander shawl so much, and the stitch repeat is just, it just totally worked for me, and that I decided to try the cowl as well. I didn't have to, I wasn't asked to within the test knit, but I also thought it would be quite a nice summer cowl. So this is the Alexander cowl. So you knit it sideways, the whole way. You extend, so you can see it's a bit longer, I'll show you in a second, but it goes out a little bit so that it's a wee bit longer at the front, and then you go right round, and she has a section at the back. So this allows you to Kitchener it. Now there's two different instructions. She has a Kitchener and a 3 needle bind off, depending on what you prefer, but I don't mind a Kitchener, so I Kitchenered this. The only thing that I did differently was that she suggests a 1x1 rib, and I did a broken rib on mine. So the pattern is due tomorrow. I'm recording this on Thursday the 16th, Thursday the 17th of April. It comes out on Friday the 18th, but by the time I get this podcast up, the pattern will have been released, and there is a introductory code for this weekend. This is the small size in the cowl. So there's a small, a medium and a large. It doesn't affect the circumference, but it does affect the depth, which again in the winter you could have a really, really cozy cowl. So this one, as I said, I just think will be really nice for the summer. Do you know, if you're sitting outside on a summer evening or a spring evening and it's just a wee bit cooler, but maybe you don't want your heavy coat on, this is lovely. And I really love the construction. I got so into it that I think I finished it in 3 days. Now that wasn't knitting consistently at it, but I just love this. So that is the Alexander cowl, which will come in the pattern with the Alexander shawl. There's a small, a medium, a large in the shawl, and a small, a medium, a large in the cowl. This yarn that I used was a Drops Flora, so I used the green and the white, and I used 33 grams of the white and 38 of the green, because with this little extra bit at the back, so really not very much. So the Drops Flora, I probably bought this for about £2 a skein, so £4, not even £4 for a beautiful cowl. I love this. I love the way it's coming up on camera. And as you'll have seen from my kind of cappuccino and beige one, again it's a beautiful shawl, but the stitch pattern, there's just something really, really nice about it. So that's my Alexander cowl by Twin Set and Pearl, and it's due to be released Friday the 18th of April. So I also haven't blocked that, I just steam blocked it, but there's no curling at the edges or anything else, and you do have, sorry I should have said that, you do have your I-cord edge on both edges, which finishes it off just beautifully. I really, really like an I-cord edge on a shawl or cowl. And then as you know, I had been in contact with Anne from Woolen Knots, and Anne had contacted me after my last podcast to say that she had a test knit up. And you know that I can't say no to a test knit. But it was a small cowl, which again, it just looked really lovely, and I thought she had quite a tight deadline on it. So again, if I couldn't have done it within that deadline, I wouldn't have said yes. But I decided to give it a go. So this is the Ballyholme Cowl, and it is just released today, Thursday the 17th of April, and this is the cowl. So it's a triangular shape. You start knitting flat. You start with a garter tab cast on, so she gives you a video for that that you can go and watch, and then the rest of it is stockinette and increases. there's a few rows of this lace on the bottom, and then you have a choice of edge. So she has just a standard cast off edge, I-cord edge, and a picot edge, and the picot edge is quite nice too. The other thing that she suggests with this pattern is that you can do it in cotton. So again, for the winter, or for the summer, sorry, for spring and summer, a cotton one would be really nice, again, just to throw over and to wear. So it's relatively small, but again, for the purpose of it to be a spring summer scarf, I've now got mohair all over the place. I'm not wearing the best of tops in terms of colour, but that, isn't it lovely? It's just a lovely, it sits well around the neck, and it's a nice shape. So for this one, I decided on a 4-ply and a mohair. The 4-ply was this, so it's a blue fern yarn. The colourway is Crocus. I'm not sure if they still sell this colourway. This was gifted to me by Ruth Loves to Knit, from the Ruth Loves to Knit podcast. So that was the base 4-ply colour, and then I used a Drops Kid Silk in the Heather colourway. So the I love purple, as I've said, and I thought this was just, I loved the yarn from Blue Fern Yarns, but I didn't have any other colours in my stash, so I decided to go with the purple. But I love the way that this has come up. The lace bit is really, really simple. It's a really easy repeat, and again, Anne steps you through that in the instructions. Now, this one did roll up a lot, so I don't have a picture of it pre-blocking, but it really rolled up and it was all scrunched in. So it really needed this to be blocked for it to sit really, really nice, and also for it not to pull when you put it on. I used, again, only about 30 grams of the 4-ply, and I think 17 of the mohair. 17, 18, I think. But yeah, less than 50 grams for a beautiful summer cowl. And as I say, with living in Northern Ireland, we need this. We had a lovely few days there of about 18 degrees, and I'm now looking out at a black cloud. It is back down to 6 degrees centigrade. And yeah, we still need cowls in the spring. So these are just perfect. They're not bulky, but they're just really handy to have in your bag and to pull over your neck whenever it's cooler. So Ballyholme Cowl by Woolen Knots. Anne has very generously extended the code that I had the last time, so I will put it on screen. She has extended that code to the end of the month, so, well, the end of May. So anyone looking to purchase any patterns or to purchase this new one, the Ballyholme one, there is a discount code this weekend, but you will continue to get a discount from this podcast using the code that I put on for the rest of April and May. Not just on this pattern, you can look at our website or a Ravelry store, and I did put a little bit of a video up the last time and talk through a few of my favourite patterns. Hopefully you found something to inspire you, because there are some really beautiful patterns, and although we don't want to talk about Christmas, there are really beautiful Christmas stockings up there which you could personalise and start working on now for anyone that's really organised. So as I said, released today, Thursday, April 17th, so it will be there by the time I get this podcast up, as will the Alexander shawl, so you've plenty to go and purchase and get knitting. So there are my 3 FOs. What am I knitting on? I've had a bit of a cast on frenzy. I keep seeing things, they keep appealing to me, I keep casting on, and then sometimes they're not working out and I'm ripping them back out again. I don't like the yarn I've chosen, or I don't like the construction when I get started. So everything has been a bit on and off the needles recently. So a couple of things have stuck. The first is that I bought quite a while ago the Sock Project. I think it's the Sock Project book by Summerlee Knits. Now I did buy it for my Kindle. So if I read it on my Kindle, it's in black and white, that's okay. But typically when I'm knitting, I have my iPad sitting or my laptop sitting, and I'll open it on the Kindle app there so that I can see everything. So I was having a look through it, and I can't even pronounce it, Trompe socks, these ones. Now these will definitely need a block, they're scrunching up, but isn't that brilliant? I really, really like the design. Once I've got down onto it's going to be striped on the sole, and this detail will continue down the top of the foot, but I couldn't resist casting these on. And as I've been, I've just pulled all the stitches off. Hold on, I'll be right back. I need to find my needle stoppers for my sock needles. I can knit away on these when I'm on calls for work. Not that I should be admitting that, but if I don't have my camera on and I'm not taking notes, I have to listen, whether it's workshops or anything else, then I can work away on those. So that's just the first sock. I haven't got any further than that. They are in Drops Fable in the red and the light pink. And I just thought they were a lovely combination. They do, I'll put a picture up, but they do mimic the colours that Summerlee has in the book. But they just really jumped off the page to me, and I couldn't resist casting them on. I do like her stitch counts, and the only thing that I do end up changing, she tells you to knit the gusset for a particular length depending on the size that you're knitting, and when I knit that particular length, I end up with more rows than what she suggests you pick up for the gusset. So I typically pick up more stitches, but that would be similar to other patterns, the twin set and purl patterns, the knit zip happy patterns that I've used. Any of the other ones do have the stitch count for the number of rows. So I always do that little bit different, but everything else is the same as it is in the pattern. Again, these are on 2.25s, and I thought this is only a slip stitch, so I'm hoping that this isn't too narrow when I get it finished, although it would probably be a gift, that one. I'll probably not keep that one. So that's one sock, and the other sock that I have cast on is just a vanilla sock. So it's a nice shorty vanilla sock. I've done the heel and flap. I've picked up the gusset stitches, and I'm just about to start the gusset decreases. So again, I keep that in my bag for when I'm out and about, and just keep working on that. And that is in, again, Drops Fable. Don't know the colour of that one. I will put it on screen. It's blowing out a little bit. It's not as bright as that. It's much duller. It's much duller than that. It's more of a dusky blue. It's coming up looking quite petrol. Maybe when I see it on screen and when I'm editing it will look different, but that's looking quite petrol. But it is more of a dusky petrol than a bright, vibrant petrol. So I cast those on as well because I was trying sweater patterns, and a lot of them were very detailed, and I just needed something that I could pick up and run whenever I was doing school drop-offs and things like that. So what's the other, oh yes, so the other thing that I have been working on is another test knit, and it is the Harbour Vest by Journey Through Yarn. So this finishes in a few weeks. I have shown you this before. So I am knitting this in Woolly Knit, the Woolly Knit Cone, and this is the Pink Rose mix. So I have wound off, and I got sick of carrying this around with me, so I continued using what I had wound off. So this is going to be hard to show. I think I've got further. I think I've done a few more rows since I last shown you. Yeah, so that's the front. I have tried this on and it's lovely. It's a really, really nice fit, because I started to think actually this looks very narrow, but it's not, and I think this is going to block out massively, as I said the last time. So I have a few more rows done. My intention is, now that the other test knits are finished, this is going to be my sole focus. So I will be continuing on this evening and getting a few more rows in and get this finished, because really once the body's finished I only have the rib edges to do, and that shouldn't take too much. And I think the real fun of this project is going to be in the blocking, getting it soaked, getting it washed and laying it out to dry. And I think this is really going to pop the stitch definition and the cable definition, and I think this is going to be glorious. So there are people in the test knit that are finished already, and the vest does look lovely. I've seen it in loads of lovely colours. So this one I am doing on 4mm. I think the pattern suggests 4.5, but when I gauge swatched with this I needed a 4 to get the gauge. When this pattern is released, so I expect it to be out mid to late May, I think. Although there is cable, it's actually really repetitive, and you only need a cable needle, I think it's about every 20th row. So the rest of it you're just repeating, and you get so into the way of the order of the stitches. Now that I've joined in the round, I have, if you can see there, I have put lots of stitch markers so that it is separating all of the bits, just to remind myself what bit I'm doing next and how many stitches I'm counting. But as I say, I think this is going to be absolutely stunning, and I'm really loving the colour of it. So that will definitely be my focus. I am not saying yes to any more test knits until that Harbour Vest is finished. So, as I said, there was a few other bits and pieces that I tried. I had a look at, what's here? I had a look at the Lite Bright. I'll put a picture up, I think that's easier, by Woolen Pine. I really like the effect of the fade that they use in this particular sweater. And I had got one of the mystery packs from Irish Artisan Yarns, and I thought I would try. So that's one of the colours, and this was from one of their clubs last year. And then, so this is DK. This is another of the colourways. So again, I thought I would go from this into this. And then the third one, which should be enough, it has more greens in it, but again, there are still those blues coming through. I thought a fade could work, and this is popping again. I'm getting more of an electric blue. It's much duller. As I say, it is more green, but there's definite blues coming through in that one as well. So this one is the Irish Skies Yarn Club January. I think this was the February one, and then this is a one-of-a-kind scheme. They're all DK, 225 meters per 100 grams, superwash, merino, and yeah. So I'm having a go at the Lite Bright. I literally have cast this on. So you cast on and do your short rows, but I'm loving the way that yarn is knitting up. Isn't that beautiful? I'm loving the browns and the greys coming through in this blue. This is really, really lovely. So as you see, I've literally just started. You work the short rows in the back, and then you start to join in the round. and go from there. It is a raglan construction. Yeah, so it's worked from the top down, beginning flat to shape a smooth scoop neck before transitioning to raglan increases that complement the body's natural curves. So I just really liked it, and they go through how to do, or how they do their fade, and I know everyone has a different way of doing it, but I just really liked, and I love the simplicity of this, and yet the colour is still able to pop. So that's the other one that I had a look at and decided to give it a go. One of the reasons I decided to do that was because I had tried the Picotee again. So if you look back at my January podcast where I talked about what I had knit in 2024, I had 3 Picotees, and in the weather that we're in now, I had got those Picotees back out again. And each of them are knit in 3 different yarns. One's a cotton, one's a merino, and one's a cotton merino. But to me, for my gauge, now it's the gauge of the pattern, but it just doesn't feel like, if I look at this, my stitch definition is pretty even. There's no bigger stitches, I can't see gaps, I can't see where it looks like it needs sewn up. And when I went to put those Picotees on me, it just looked like I couldn't knit. So this is my alternative to see what I come up with. The stitch gauge in this one, so I think the Tolsta is 17 stitch gauge, 17 or 18 stitch gauge. This one is 20, but I think that is going to make the difference that my stitch definition is just much smoother. So as I said, I'm going to give that a go and see how that goes. This is the ranunculus, which probably needs no introduction. And again, I love this. And even though it's at the bigger gauge, it doesn't look uneven. My stitch, so I have no clue what it is. If there are any help or hints or tips, I am more than happy to hear them in the comments, but I have struggled with the Tolsta in particular, and I have tried all the different yarns. So this is my plan to try. I love a basic tee, so I was going to try the Lite Bright by Woolen Pine. So I will update you on those. The socks will definitely keep going. The Lite Bright, it could all be ripped back by the next podcast, but let's see. So as I said at the start, I just hit the 1,000 subscribers during the last 2 weeks. So I want to do a bit of a giftaway and just to say thank you to everyone for subscribing. If you haven't yet subscribed and you are enjoying the content, please think about subscribing, because I know people have said it before, but it's that little jump of joy that you get every time you see those subscriber numbers going up. All I want is one of the patterns might inspire you. You may not listen to all of the podcast, although I am so pleased for anyone that does get to this point. But I always put in the wee bookmarks so that you can go to the patterns that you want to hear about, or the bits that interest you most. And I get that our time is precious and we don't always have all day to sit and watch all of the podcasts that we want to. So as I said, I'm going to do 2 prizes. For those prizes, I would like you to comment in the box below. Because we're coming up into the Easter weekend, I would like you to put Easter as one of the words in that sentence, and I would love to hear some of the patterns that you are knitting. So what is it that's on your needles that's really taking your attention at the minute? Because I love inspiration too. So Easter and what it is that you're knitting on at the minute. One of the prizes will be this bag. So I make project bags. I haven't put them on my Etsy yet. I did say in one of my podcasts that I was going to, and I haven't just got round to it yet because I haven't made enough. So this is one of the project bags that I'm going to use as a giftaway. There are it is patterned inside, and these are pockets, so the pockets are really handy. This particular one is that size, so I currently have my Harbour Vest in it, so it pulls shut. I just don't want to pull shut the brand new project bag, so it pulls shut. You have the handle which goes over the wrist, and you can knit out of there if you need to as well. And as I say, you could easily get 200-gram skeins in this. Ranunculus, Love Note, any of those jumpers, this is okay for a jumper, although I do use it for socks as well. So that's the bag. And then you will get a set of my sock blockers. So again, I've shown these in the past. So that's the standard foot, and then you will get 6 of the attachments that you can then make them your own. Now, and I have got this comment and I am fully aware of it, the length of this will go to about 10-11 centimetres, just over 4 inches. So I know that that leg doesn't appeal to everyone. One of the issues that we have is that the size of the 3D printer, that's really as long as I can get the print, but we are looking at creating an attachment so that you can make this longer. It won't work if you've bought a template, but I'm going to work out a discount code if you have bought that template before, so that you can get the longer leg. So that's one of the things. It'll essentially be the same as this bit down here, and it'll be up here so that you can extend the leg. Typically, as I say, the socks that I knit are no longer, so this is absolutely perfect for me and perfect for shorties. But you will get, as I said, the bag, the sock blocker, and the 6. I haven't got the 6 toes here, but you will get the 6 toe sizes. So that ranges from 34 up to 46 in European size foot. So that's the first. What I will do for anyone that wins, I will check which colour you want in this, and I will print you the colour that you want. At the minute I have pink, a purple, and I'll show you the blue in a second. So that's one prize that I have. Whoever is picked first, I will let you pick which one you want, and then the other one will go to the second person. The blue is that colour. Again, it's blowing out a bit. It's not quite, it is bright, but it's not quite as bright as that. And the second prize is this little bag. So it has poppers. It has no handle, but it is brilliant for socks. So again, I'll show you the one. I have been using this exact bag. I have had 2 pairs of socks in this at one stage. So it does fit quite a bit. I have 1 sock in it at the minute, and there's still loads of space there. But I've no notions or anything else. So it pops closed. It's great for your handbag. A box bottom on it. And then the other thing that we have been working on is a sock ruler. So I have been using this for quite a number of weeks to see what I think of it. Where did my sock go? It's not really going to work on this, but you are able to, all the stitches are going to come off here again. You are able to put the sock on and measure. So it is a bit more difficult to see on this, but the measurements are the whole way down the middle. And again, one of the things with a sock blocker that I didn't like was that it didn't fit in my project bag. So this comes in 2 different sizes so that you're able to put it into your project bag, and it actually fits perfectly in that one. And it means that you can carry it around with you. So again, the 3 colours, the blue, the purple and the pink. And it just snaps together in the middle. I have measured a number of different ones, and I am getting the right measurement. That's what I wanted to check before I talked about this or put it on to Etsy. So that's the sock ruler, and as I say, it comes apart so that it goes nicely into your project bag. So that is the second prize. So those are the 2 prizes. Comment Easter and the pattern or the the thing that you're making. It doesn't even have to be knitting. What is it that you're making that you really, really enjoy? Now, I appreciate there are 2 knitting based items, but well, the project bags aren't. My daughter uses them for everything and anything. So comment below and I will pick that at the next podcast. So once again, thank you so much for joining in this journey, for watching my podcast, for commenting down below, and I will do a shameless plug to subscribe and to like this video. Thank you. I hope that you are well and that you are enjoying what you're knitting. Keep crafting, and I will see you next time. Bye.